ladies and gentlemen. My name is Paul Workman, and I am the man of constant hatred. Welcome to Drinking Age Movies Short, the show where we take a short look back at films from 21 years ago and discuss their impact on pop culture and filmmaking today. If you've been following the show, you know we're taking a look back at films from January to July.
And that, as much as anything else, led to my drinking problem.
Before we jump into Lost in Space, we're going to take a look back at August 7th, 1998 to see what was released up against Snake Eyes, the film we're doing on the podcast this week, in what I'm calling Too Damn Short. It is said that John Carpenter was going to direct the sequel, and screenwriter and Dawson's Creek creator Kevin Williamson was going to pen the screenplay. But Carpenter wanted too much money, and Williamson wanted to incorporate the entire Halloween canon, while the studio wanted it tossed out. So, instead of a good movie, we got this tepid reboot that Jamie Lee Curtis called a paycheck movie. However, it was one of the two horror films from Josh Hartnett's breakout year, and 20 years later, we would once again throw out the entire canon for the third, clean reboot of the series. The year is 1997. The Robinson family are set to travel the stars. They are leaving a crowded Earth in order to colonize an Earth-like planet orbiting Alpha Centauri. But their ship is sabotaged, and they become lost in space. In 1965, writer-director Irwin Allen had the brilliant idea to ask the question, what if Swiss Family Robinson was set in space? And yes, it really took place in 1997. CBS said, "That sounds amazing. We were looking at this other show called Star Trek, but this seems like a much better idea." No one heard from Star Trek again. All joking aside, Allen's Lost in Space was a modest hit, but didn't routinely pull in adult audiences. Along with some wild tone changes throughout its 3-season run, it didn't continue to thrill the sponsors. The show was canceled, but would live on in syndication. That is where a young boy of constant hatred discovered it, and would fall in love forever. I would like to talk about this show all day. Literally all day. Slip into those DMs for some Lost in Space talk. Fast forward to the year that the show was originally set. 1997. In the wake of the success of the film versions of The Brady Bunch and Mission Impossible, New Line Cinema decided to hire writer Akiva Goldsman to pen a gritty, more serious script for Lost in Space. If you're familiar with Akiva Goldsman, you know what's about to happen. If you're not, and you're curious what script Akiva Goldsman was responsible for before Lost in Space, it's this.
What killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age! Always winterize your pipes.
Hey, freeze. The heat is on.
Granted, he did write the scripts for The Client and A Time to Kill as well, and they were very serious films. And Batman and Robin gets a little more flack than it deserves these days, but director of Predator 2 and the very underrated Blown Away, Stephen Hopkins, was brought on to direct. I wanted a better punchline there, but those films were pretty solid, so moving on. New Line signed the cast to a 3-picture deal, a cast that included Gary Oldman, William Hurt, Mimi Rogers, and Matt LeBlanc. Yes, Joey from Friends. Get the giggles out.
How you doing?
The studio had also planned a multimedia franchise to follow the film, including an animated television series and a live-action television series. The biggest snag in this plan is that they poured $80 million into the film itself, the most New Line had put into any film at the time, and it only made back $69 million domestic, even though it raked in $20 million on its opening weekend, and it was the film that knocked Titanic off of its 15-week run at the #1 spot. It was also thrashed pretty hard by the critics. Any hope for a Lost in Space extended universe had gone out the window. 20 years after the fact, Netflix has launched a new Lost in Space series, which I feel is bloody fantastic, and you should go watch it right now if you haven't already. Oh, and Akiva Goldsman has an Oscar. Let that sink in. No, really. Let it. So that was Lost in Space. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Was there not enough danger, Will Robinson? Leave a comment down below and let us know all of that. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and hit that little bell icon somewhere around here for notifications, because who doesn't love notifications? There was an amazing animated sequence in this episode done by an artist named Scott O'Brien. I'll leave a link down below so you can watch that on YouTube. It's great. You can follow us on Facebook at Drinking Age Movies. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at FatherOfTheFear. You can give to our Patreon at patreon.com/drinkingagemovies. You can listen to our podcast, Drinking Age Movies, on Spotify, iTunes, Stitcher, Podbean. I'll leave all those links down below as well. My name is Paul Workman. I am the man of constant hatred, and you have yourself a damn fine day. If you're familiar with the key,